stories of human resilience are so inspiring, and they give us a vision, they give us a picture of what could be, especially now that we understand where the resilience comes from, right? The presence of God in us, the kataskouo, the glory of God in our inmost being. So welcome back to our last session together. It's just flown by, and there's so much more I have to say, but I wrote a book because I have so much more to say. And if you haven't had a chance yet to tap into the book, Resilient, and in the audiobook, by the way, I'm able to take you into those prayer sessions, into those practices in a much richer, deeper way. So you might want to check that out. I want that for you. Okay, so early on, I said that we are living in the hour of the 10 bridesmaids. I think that story fits right in this hour. The wise and the foolish, those who are caretaking a rich experience, plenty of the presence of God in our lives, okay? And the foolish who don't, okay? I also want to say to you, this is the hour of Lot's wife. So as Jesus is warning us, counseling us, urging us, telling some of those sober stories he tells about the group of people who live through the end of the age, which is us, folks. We few, we happy few. This is our hour, right? He says something really, really important in Luke chapter 17. When the Son of Man returns, he says, it will be like in Noah's day. Okay, in those days, the people enjoyed banquets, parties, weddings, right up to the moment that Noah entered the boat and the flood came and destroyed them all. And the world will be as it was in the days of Lot. People went about their daily business, eating, drinking, buying, selling, farming, building, until the morning. Lot left Sodom, and then fire and burning sulfur rained down from heaven. Okay, yes, it will be business as usual right up to the day when the Son of Man is revealed. And then he says this, remember Lot's wife. Anyone who seeks to save his life will lose it. And if you let your life go, you will save it. Okay. Remember Lot's wife? Holy cow, gang, that is a really sober warning. Do you recall the story? It takes place in Genesis chapter 19. Sodom was the capital of old Canaanite paganism. It was the capital of the region for 1,500 years. It had walls that were 30 and 50 feet thick, 70 feet high. It was a place of commerce and the arts. It was a dark, dark place. You remember Stonehenge, perhaps, and those stone, monuments kind of thing? There are 1,500 ritual sites all around the outside of the city walls of Sodom. Yeah, archaeologists have found the place, and it is a dark and shady place, or it was. Okay, we learn from the story that when the angels come to warn Lot to get out, the men of the city try to gang rape them. You're like, whoa, the culture of the place is like that sort of assault? Yeah, that kind of darkness? Yep. It was. And in the story, Lot and his family have the opportunity to run for their lives. They do. They run across the plain. Fire comes down from heaven. And it was so hot, what the archaeologists discovered was that it melted the pottery like glass. Okay. They make it out. And then there's this moment where Lot looks up, and here is his wife with her arms outstretched. But not to him, not to God, outstretched to Sodom. And she is a pillar of salt. Like, whoa, Jesus, what is that about? Why are you reminding us of that ancient story for these times? It has to do with the power of the world and of darkness to trap the human heart, and the ancient battle for the human heart, and the fight of God to rescue our hearts and keep us centered in his love in an hour like this one. Because you go, how could a person turn back to such an evil place as that, with human trafficking and sexual assault? Why? How do you get used to such evil? Well, you've been doing it all your life, friends. I mean, honestly, this world is a dark place. 2 million children are trafficked into the sex trade every year. There are more people in slavery right now on the planet than there ever have been. The world is a dark place, but we get used to it because, like the folks who lived in Sodom, there was also commerce and the arts and industry and agriculture and all the things that, clothing and stuff that make the world a wonderful place. Remember Lot's wife. It is a tale of divided allegiances. See, the fight is for the allegiance and the affection, the attention of our hearts. The enemy's plan from the beginning goes like this. He wants to wear down your humanity, just run us like rats on the wheel, right? The pace of life, the media we consume, the crises, and all the heartache of a personal story. And then you throw onto that the heartache of the entire planet, which is now delivered to you every day on your phone. Okay, wear down humanity, traumatize us, and then offer some form of what feels like relief in order to ensnare our hearts. That's his plan. He's out for our destruction. And Lot's wife, it's almost like she had a kind of trauma bond with Sodom, right? The power of darkness to both wound and traumatize, but then ensnare the human heart through various forms of relief. This is our addictions, right? This is where we go for all our little comforters. You know your struggles. I know mine. This is the battle for the human heart. Remember Lot's wife. No divided allegiances in this hour, okay? Now, something to know about your heart. We talked about the shallows, midlands, depths. Something else you need to know about your heart is you have an Eden heart. You do, because Eden is our home. And Eden is coming back, by the way. Everyone has a heart for Eden. You know this. This is the part of your heart that gets you dreaming about that awesome vacation you'd love to take. This is the part of your heart that just loves certain pieces of music or certain places in the world, your favorite places, the cabin in the mountains, right? The beach you love. Everyone has an Eden heart, a heart for beauty and intimacy and adventure. And it's really, really good. It is the most precious part of your humanity. And where you take your Eden heart is where this battle is playing out. It's where we need the resilience not to give in and not to be ensnared, and it's where the enemy is working as well. So in this hour of the 10 bridesmaids and wanting to caretake oil, wanting to make sure that we are cultivating a practice of plenty of God in our life, in this hour of Lot's wife, which Jesus said, this is the hour of Lot's wife. Do not forget that lesson. What we need to ask ourselves at this point, here in the last session, is this. What's your plan? What's your plan, gang? To be resilient? What's your plan to tap in? What's your plan to get out of the madness of the world and cultivate your soul and the resilience of God and the oil of God? What's your plan? Because if you don't have a plan, it's not going to happen. Okay, you're going to finish this series and, hit end, and then you're just going to start scrolling your feed and just go on to the next thing, okay? Here's the mistake that most people who want God, most people of faith, the sons and daughters of God, make in their life. Here's the basic mistake, okay, is how do I fit God into my busy life? And so, instead of Sunday, we try and cram in a Saturday night service or a Friday night service, and churches are trying to accommodate this. We try and get in a podcast on our way to work in the morning to get a little bit of Bible in. We're trying to find a way. You're doing it. I'm doing it. How do I fit God into a busy life? And that's the fundamental mistake. You can't do that. You don't start there. Instead, like the wise bridesmaids, you start with God. You start with resilience. You start with the practices that protect your heart and soul in this hour. And then you build out from there. It isn't, how do I fit God into a busy life? The question is, I'm going to start by centering my life in God. I'm going to start with these very practices of resilience and of gaining kataskuo and the strength that I need. I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to see what else fits. And some things have to go. Okay, this is the story of Sodom. It's the pull of the world, and where will we take our hearts? So, just a couple thoughts, gang. Like, what is the rhythm of your daily life that allows you to develop resilience and to receive the resilience of God and to enjoy things like we did last time with the prayer of descent and communing with God in your soul? What's the rhythm? You got to have a rhythm. You got to have a way, a rule of life. Okay, what's your rhythm? Morning and evening prayer, non-negotiable. Like, that's got to be what frames your day. Before I even get out of bed in the morning, one of the first things I say is, oh, Jesus in me, live this day. Now, I got to just start with my need, my dependence, my frail humanity. God in me. Let's go into this day, right? And then in the evening, we practice benevolent detachment. I give it all to you. I release everything and everyone to you. And we come back to communion, right? Learning to pause in your day, the place for worship, the place for beauty in your life, like literally making beauty part of the rhythm of your life with nature or music, okay? This is how we will be the ones who survive, okay? Endurance is what we need now, right? Because we are not the ones who shrink back and throw in the towel. We are the ones who persevere, and our souls shall receive the salvation that is truly salvation, which is to be permeated with the life of Jesus. So what's your plan? Okay. You got to have a plan. Center in God, and you build out from there. Now, to help you, we've also built a program on an app called 30 Days to Resilient. And if I were you, that's where I'd go from here. It's just like a next step. In a 30-day program, morning and evening, we can walk through more of these practices together. But you got to have a plan, folks. You want to be the wise bridesmaids who bring in extra oil. Because the thing about the foolish ones is that they simply don't have a plan. They don't arrange for it. They live too casually for the hour that they're living in, and then, whoa, they're surprised, okay? All right, now I want to come back to the story on the raft and why it's so important. Ever since I was a boy, I've loved adventure stories. I've loved stories of danger and human resilience and overcoming the odds. And what I love about Jesus and his intimacy is that he will bring us stories that we need through all the ages of our life. And so I read Kon-Tiki, the story of Thor Heyerdahl's mission, his adventure from the coast of Peru, 4,000 miles across the open ocean to Polynesia, in a raft with 5 of his friends, 3 months in the open sea. Okay, I loved it as a boy, but God brought it back to me this last year because of the need I didn't even know my soul had. And so I want to read to you a couple more passages from it because it's just been so helpful and meaningful to me. First, it begins with, as they approach what looks like rescue, as they're getting near an uninhabited Polynesian island where they will finally land after 3 months at sea, 101 days, they are going to impact the reef outside, and the waves are going to come in and just begin to hammer them. Here's what he writes. A new sea rose up high astern of us like a glittering green glass wall. As we sank down, it came rolling after us, and in the same second in which I saw it high above me, I felt a violent blow and was submerged under floods of water. I felt the suction through my whole body. with such great strength that I had to strain every single muscle in my frame and think of one thing only: hold on, hold on. The whole submersion lasted only seconds, but it demanded more strength than we usually have in our bodies. There is greater strength in the human mechanism than that of the muscles alone. I determined that if I was to die, I would die in this position, like a knot on the mast. The sea thundered on, over and past, and as it roared by, it revealed a hideous sight. The Kon-Tiki, their raft, their home, was wholly changed, as if by a stroke of magic. The vessel we knew from weeks and months at sea was no more. In a few seconds, our pleasant world had become a shattered wreck. And just that piece, at first, I needed that. Like, I needed the orientation of, okay, this isn't the first time that people's lives have been profoundly shaken. This isn't the first time that men and women have endured their world being shattered. Right? The world is a very turbulent place. It always has been. And that is accelerating here at the end of the age. And I just needed the reminder of that, the comfort that we aren't the only ones to navigate times like this. I felt an empathy. I felt an identification with just these waves coming on of just, the thrashing, the need to hold on. But then here was the real gift. I thought that was the gift. But as I read on into the story, they make it. They make it into the lagoon. They make it to this beautiful island. And here's what he writes: I shall never forget that wade across the reef towards the heavenly Palm Island that grew larger as it came to meet us. And when I reached the sunny sand beach, I slipped off my shoes and thrust my bare toes down into the warm, bone-dry sand. He walks into the island. Green coconuts hung under the palm tufts, and some luxuriant bushes were thickly covered with snow-white blossoms, which smelled so sweet and seductive that I felt quite faint. In the interior of the island, two quite tame terns flew about my shoulders. They were as white and light as wisps of cloud. I was completely overwhelmed. The voyage was over. We were all alive. We had run ashore on a small, uninhabited South Sea island, and it was heaven. You see the analogy, right? The trial, the ordeal, the shattered wreck of the world, and then Eden. Friends, we get Eden back. When John reports in Revelation at the end of the biblical tale the coming of the city of God to the earth, and he sees the earth and the heavens remade, made new, he actually sees Eden, because he sees the river of life, and he sees the tree of life, which was in Eden, is back. Okay, we get Eden back, friends. And here's the difference. If you tell a survivor, gosh, I'm sorry, but you're stuck and you're on your own, good luck, no rescue is coming, they will lose heart. But if you tell a survivor, rescue is guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed, even if it's months away, they will rise up, right? The hope of it allows them to persevere and not lose heart. Rescue's coming, friends. This story, rough as it is right now, is about to be gorgeous. It's about to be Eden. It's about to be everything your heart longs for. And that's why we don't have to be Lot's wife. We don't have to cling to the world. We can let it go, and we can dive deep, and we can tap in and find the resilience in our love for God and his for us. And in our communion with him, we can find the strength that we need for this hour. And so let's go into one more prayer time together, and let's pray back through the things that we have learned in these 5 sessions. Let's ask for it again. As always, we begin by loving God. And as we practice this, we also practice some benevolent detachment. We just begin with, I love you. I love you, God. I love you, Father. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Lord. Oh, I ask you for the strength that prevails. I ask you for kataskuo, the victorious strength. I ask you again for the glory of God to fill my life. This is your temple. I am your temple. Fill this temple with your glory, God, the glory of creation, the glory of the resurrection, and the glory of Canaan. I give to you, Lord, the unconverted places in me, the doubt, the rebellion, the half-heartedness. I turn from the world. I pull my heart out of it, all my other lovers, and I give my heart to you, God. I ask you to convert the unconverted places. I pray for the salvation that is really salvation, which is that my whole humanity is saturated with the presence of Jesus and one with you. I drop in and I give you my attention deep within me. I commune with you in my inmost being. I love you here. I find you within me. And I learn to linger with you. Spirit of the living God, help me to learn to commune with Jesus in my inmost being. And God, I choose you. I choose single-heartedness. I give my Eden heart to you. Father, Jesus, Holy Spirit, you and you alone, I treasure you above all things. And I ask you for the strength that I need to live in this hour and escape the madness. Strength of mind, strengthen my thought life, my mental life, strength of heart, strengthen my emotions, strength of will. Jesus, I turn my back on the seductions of the world, on the plans of the enemy to take me out, and I choose you. Fill me, imbue me with a supernatural resilience for this hour. And Lord, I pray, help me form a plan. Help me change the rhythm of my daily life to begin with you, to start with you, and then to see what else fits. Lord, I don't want to just try and fit a little bit of God in my life. I choose a new rhythm, a rhythm that is devoted to resilience out of our love and communion. Show me the new way. Show me what I need to let go of and what I need to take up. Okay, that's it. That was our time together. I really hope you found this helpful. I really hope that you see how helpful it could be if you embrace it and you practice it and you go back through. If I were you right now, I'd go back through one day at a time, the prayer sessions at the end. I just go back through and pray through it again and learn to tap into these things. Rescue's coming. Eden is coming, friends. Won't be long. Okay, let us take hold of the strength that God offers.